FH Moms. What we do is we help Filipino mothers inside and outside the Philippines to get an online job, and now we are expanding to helping more Filipino mothers without access to the internet by giving them home-based livelihood opportunities.
Before kasi kami na nag-home-based job, parang living paycheck to paycheck kami. Sahod niya, oy, happy na agad yan yung matitira. Pero nung nag-home-based na kami, doon nakapag-ipon na kami. Nakapag-church wedding kami. Tapos nagkaroon na kami ng savings. Nagkaroon na rin kami ng investments, tsaka insurance. Nakapag-bili na rin kami ng house.
Dito kasi sa pag nagtrabaho kami sa bahay, mas maraming time na sa kids, sa kanya. Kaya, ayun. Hanggang ngayon, masaya pa rin naman ako sa pag-online yun.
Since sobrang hirap, importante ko na talaga yung taling ng job, na-experience ko na rin yung discrimination sa work. Until October 2018, I was invited to be an inspirational speaker, and you were one of them. So yun, na-meet kita. And then doon ako na-trigger, mami. Doon na talaga doon na ako pinasok talaga ng mundo ng pag-work. You gave me hope. I really remember yung experience ko sa isang company na discriminate ko. I got projects, I got freelance job, naging ambassador sa isang company. So those are some things na natutunan ko sa office.
Nag-join ako ng FH Moms last 2017, and that was the first year na nag-transition ako from corporate to working from home. So, nakita ko to sa Facebook as a mommy community for, like freelancers. So, that's why I joined. For me, FH Moms is really like a blessing. The group or this community made me realize my calling as a teacher. It's an honor to be part of this group, to impart what I know, and help other mothers out there as part of the goal of FH Moms. So, go for it.
In my job, there are many tasks. There are so many things that needs to be done in front of the computer. There's a lot of forms, paperwork, and also a lot of research. At the same time, being an event planner, I'm always on the go. And as a new company, it's also challenging whether should I hire an employee, like a regular employee, or should I just get somebody that's on call. Now, this is where FH Moms came in, like God said. So when I hired one of the wonderful FH Mom members with the name of Katie, I was able to communicate to her what I envisioned my business to be, and she helped me to create a very positive branding of my business. So I would say having FH Moms as a support system for my business has been the best decision that I have ever made.
Hi, mommies! Good evening, everyone, and I'm very happy to be back for our free webinar series on customer service. Now, wait, let me just go ahead and share my screen first, so at least you get to see something I prepared also. How are you? How are you, everyone? If it's your first time watching a webinar from FH Moms, feel free to comment down below where you're watching this from. And maybe if it's your first time, do indicate as well in the comment if it's your first time to watch a webinar from FH Moms. Now, anyway, wait, let me just share my screen right here. And let's see, let's go here. Okay. Tonight is a very special day. I mean, I'm not supposed to share it with you, but I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. It's actually my special day today. I'm turning 41 today. But more than anything, I'm really blessed to have someone tonight to share with you more about customer service. This is a person that I'm really looking up to, and I'm very happy that she said yes. So I hope that moms, if you have maybe your husbands too, you can go ahead and invite them over and watch and tune in. You might learn a lot of things from this free webinar today, okay? So anyway, as you know, my name is Mommy Jackie. I am your customer service trainer. And tonight we will have a special night. We will have an interview with an expert. This expert that I'm featuring today is actually I would say a mentor, how do I say it? A super mom, a lot of things, okay? She's someone I really look up to. Me being a solo parent myself and as a trainer, she was the one who basically trusted me to be a trainer back in 2006. That's January of 2006. And I'm very happy that she said yes despite her busy schedule. So I hope that if you have any questions that you'd like to ask her, this is your time to somehow I would say get an expert's point of view. Okay, so who am I referring to? Her name is Miss Tonette Izon, but normally we call her T, as in the letter T. Okay, currently she is the senior manager for global learning and organizational development for Conduent Business Services. She has been in the role for 2.5 years. But more importantly, she's been in the industry for 17 years of her life, and along the way, I believe, she's been a trainer, be it English language. She's been a training manager back when I got promoted as a trainer. She's been all over the place, I would say. And along the way, she's touched many lives. A lot of us, I would say, have been promoted. Some of us became trainers, training managers. Some became operations managers. And I think she played a vital role in making it happen for a lot of us, okay? Currently, she shared with me that she shifted to the back office part of customer service or the BPO industry, which is something we've discussed also in the past. But maybe she can clarify further for those of you who are not familiar between what's the regular customer service BPO versus back office. And of course, she still loves training, so she stayed with training and development. Now, she also shared with me that one of the life-changing events that she has had, or I would say achievement, which is I agree with her as well, would be when she got certified as a facilitator for the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I've been trained one time, but I'm not certified. I usually incorporate this in some of my training materials, but I know she deserves that certification. I know she feels really good sharing whatever lessons she learned from this seminar. Back in 2014, she also started a restaurant business. So for some of you who somehow are also into, or maybe thinking about starting out a business, she's I would say, someone you can ask about this as well. You could learn a lot of things because she was basically doing the restaurant business at the same time working. And I don't know how she does this, to be quite honest, because I only have one son. I shared it with you before, but she has 5 kids, so I don't know how she does this. She raised 4 kids on her own as a solo parent or as a single parent, and now she's co-parenting with her daughter's father for her youngest. So without further ado, maybe I can ask Will to help me out and bring out Miss T, or Tonette Izon. Hi, T. Hello,
Hi,
T.
good evening. Happy birthday, Jackie.
Thank you, T. I didn't mention her.
I'd say happy birthday, but then we might just shut down the webinar, so I'm not going to do that. But good evening, everybody. It really is such a privilege to be here. I'm a little nervous. I have my código, but thank you so much, for inviting me here. And thank you to all the working mommies and the mommies who are aspiring to work from home or whatever it is. And the daddies, everybody who's just looking for a career on the
Mhm.
side, or full time, just like I did. Incidentally, I have 5 kids, Jackie.
I
Five
know,
of
I know.
right?
And I don't know how you did that actually, because I only have one, but it seems very tough already.
I have an answer to that.
Okay, what's the answer? Go ahead.
It all really, all the journey, I had, Papa Dios, I call him Papa Dios, on guiding me all the way. Because,
Right.
looking back, I couldn't imagine doing this on my own, and I don't know how I got there either. So I would like to give credit where credit is due.
Oh,
So,
yes. I agree. I agree.
yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I think he deserves all the credit, definitely, right?
True, true.
Anyway, moms and I don't know that daddies or maybe kids out there. I don't know who's watching at the moment. If you have any questions somewhere along the way, let's reserve it later on. I prepared a few questions that I feel you might also be asking yourselves, maybe, or you would like to get a bit of, I would say, an overview or maybe an idea from Miss T. Okay, so anyway, so let's get started. T, is it okay?
Sure. Huwag masyadong mahirap, ha?
Okay.
Guys.
Sige, sige. Actually, sige, let's be a bit more, kasi honestly, sabi ko nga kanina, before we started, I've been doing this since June, but this is the most nervous I've been because we haven't done this ever, right? And at the same time, it's been a long time since I've actually talked with T. It was still way back 2011. Although, what I really love about UT is the fact that even if it's been how many years, it seems like, yesterday was just yesterday, right?
You're my family, right? You're my
Right.
family. For the years that we spent together, I had young children then. We all helped me raise my kids. I had to look
Right.
to all of you for guidance after all. So,
Right, right.
yeah.
And that's the amazing, amazing part, right? That's the amazing part, really. Okay. Anyway, T, I don't know actually all of the answers to the questions I gave you. So maybe I don't know everything about you, your background in customer service and in the BPO industry. So to me, it's also enlightening if I hear it from you as well. So I wonder, how did you start your career in this industry?
I'm having to rewind like 17, 20 years, right? So please bear with me. Hindi na
Okay.
ganun sharp yung memory ko. Like that. The way you knew me many, many years ago. So I came back to the Philippines permanently in 2000 after living abroad for 10 years. I got a divorce, and I had 4 kids then. And I figured I'm not going to be able to provide my children with good support if I'm just by myself there. So, sabi ko, I was gonna go home. Bahala na si Batman. I was gonna go home. And I was going to start life here again. So, a friend of mine offered me a job with a very humble salary, but to be offered something that could get me started again was a huge deal. So,
Mhm.
tinanggap ko yun. May customer service dun sa binigay niya sa aking trabaho, gift-giving site. So, I really enjoyed customer service. I like being of
Right.
service. I like being, right? To be able to find solutions and making the other person on the other end of the phone at least happy. So,
Mhm.
I did that, but then, for kids, and I had my mom and all that, medyo mahirap. I felt that hindi sapat financially.
Mhm.
So, I was given a break. I applied. I aggressively looked for a job. And then, sabi ko, bahala na. Even if I were to start over at 36, I was
Mhm.
36 because I'm 55 now. Start over at 36, I said, I'm going to do it. I have my kids to inspire me. So, it was a company called Vocative, an EPLDT subsidiary then, pronunciation conscious. Pag famous tayo, di ba? Hanggang ngayon, conscious pa rin. Pero we have
Right,
fun
right,
with it. We have fun with it, di ba? Nakakatuwa.
right.
And nag-apply ako, CSR. Sabi ko, what's it gonna hurt? I can communicate, and if not, like I said, I leave it all up to him. And so, pasok, and then during my application, I was asked, hey, so sabi sa akin, do you want to be a trainer instead? Because you've got background in healthcare back then.
Mhm.
And this was a healthcare then, and why
Mhm.
don't you join the pilot group? Total pilot naman. So for everybody in the industry, when they say it's a pilot group,
Mhm.
and any moms out there, ibig sabihin brand new, matututo kayo at the same time. So
Mhm.
medyo
Mhm.
nababawasan yung kaba. So sabi ko, sige. Sige, so better pay and all of that. So I took it. Wala akong alam sa training, wala akong alam sa lahat. And
Mhm.
maybe one advice I will give you is that yung will over skill, right? Skill
Right.
versus will, it's always will. You
Mhm.
want to do it, you're going to do it no matter what. Mahihirapan ka, mapapahiya ka, madadapa ka, pagtatawanan ka, okay lang.
Right.
As long as you're bringing. So I did that, and I got accepted as a trainer, and that's when my entire career started.
Right. So I guess the message out there for the moms is, don't be afraid, right? Don't be afraid to take the risk just in case. Some of us really are skeptical about trying it out, maybe because for the longest time you're just a stay-at-home mom, and you like T, maybe you don't know how to start, but there's nothing, you won't really lose anything if you try it out, right, T? If that's something I got from what you shared. I would say, yeah, the Lord basically had a play in, the turnout of events, right? Instead of going for a representative position, we eventually became a trainer, and who would have known you would have a team of moms, our team.
Yeah, ang
Really.
dami natin, yeah.
Right, right, right. Okay,
Well,
that's good to know. That's good to know.
they say,
Mhm.
pray as if everything depended on him and work like everything depended on you.
Mhm.
I live by that. So I work hard, but I pray hard also. And it's a combination of luck, people seeing how determined you are. Gusto mo talaga eh. So you can overcome fear when that becomes this focal point, the center of your values and what you
Right,
believe.
right. And like what you said earlier, it's the will versus the skill. Because a lot of people, we've met a lot of skilled people who unfortunately are not really as willing to make the sacrifices or the risk
Mhm.
maybe. They feel like they're too skilled, right? They're too skilled to even go into customer service or into the BPO industry. Okay.
Without
Okay.
no, I have a story to tell,
Okay, go
segue.
ahead.
So the customer in this service industry, or even the BPO industry, I'll tell you guys a difference in a bit. It's such a noble, fulfilling, rewarding industry. Imagine I put
Mhm.
kids through school, everything. So I owe so much to the industry. When my daughter was in college, in a very good college here, she was asked by her professor back then, kasi ang lakas ng stigma, right?
Right,
Um,
right.
you're not in this college, sabi ng professor. You're not in this college just to be a call center representative.
Mhm,
So
mhm,
my daughter stood up and said, do you know what's putting food in my mouth and yours? You
mhm,
know,
mhm.
for you to say something like that. So that's part of our struggles at the call center. But it it is a very intellectual work. It
Mhm.
But more than intellectual, it is kung ina ka, mahabang patience mo. That's one tip.
Right.
You're
I
already on
agree.
the right path. Yeah,
Right.
because it's a lot of empathy, it's a lot of understanding. So that yung intellectual na de-develop, pero yung ganong klaseng treatment, no, hindi basta-basta, it doesn't come by. So that's why I also feel that people with high empathy, we can see that a lot with moms, right? Because
Mhm.
of the children, already have one foot in the door, pasok na, dun pa
Right.
lang pasok na. Yeah,
Right, right, right. It's an edge really for moms, right?
sure.
Okay. You know what, Mommy? Sobrang mag-enjoy kayo to listen to T, or to Net. Although I'm really used to calling her T, no? Because she's really more than, I would say, a mentor in the professional field, but also as a fellow mom. Okay. Very open, even when we were working together, the communication was basically open in a way. Um, the members of our family, we kind of know each other. Although we're not really like going out all the time, but we know who's the child of who, right? And what's happening to who. Somehow we know. Anyway, sige, let's move on to the next question. I hope you're learning, moms, and also you're being inspired, right, at this point. Okay, so for the moms naman, T, who are aspiring to be CSR, what do you think would be your best tip for them?
Titignan ko yung kwadito ko, ha?
Sige po.
Yeah. Extend your patience, they're like the customers, so be patient. The customers who call are like little kids who are not getting their toys to work, or that's what doon ko pa dihambing, right? They're calling you because they have a problem, so be patient. That's the number one tip. It's not that you can provide them a solution or anything like that. It's that nakikinig ka sa kanila, believe it or not. That's the first secret. They want to know if you're listening to them. So, yeah, be patient is one of them, and then listen to understand. That's such a heavy thing, That's
Right.
listen to understand. Kasi most of the time, pag nakikinig tayo sa customer, dito, napapansin ko na gusto natin i-solve ka agad-agad ng problema. Kaya hindi pa nila naikukwento yung buong situation, nag-i-interrupt na tayo, nagbibigay na tayo ng solutions. So let's listen, let's listen to understand. Pag if you think na mauulit mo na yung story, alam mo na, pause. Tapos mag-explore na kayo ng options. So be patient. Kung nagagalit sila, allow them to vent. Most of the time that works. And have them feel through your voice, like how we talk to our children, our husbands, our loved ones, that you really care. That's one tip. What do you think, Jackie? Diba?
I agree. Because sometimes, on the job itself, CSRs can be so consumed with average handling time. Like they're always in a hurry that they forget the basics of customer service, which is basically the customer themselves. Right?
Correct.
So that's the center of everything.
Yeah. We're dealing with human beings, and yet we treat them like they were a process or a robot. So let's not forget, and in any job that we do, we're at the end of the day, it's just another person who wants to be heard, right?
Right. So it's not supposed to be transactional.
And then it's not transactional, really. It should be transformational. And the second tip is definitely brush up on your English skills. I mean, walang perfect, di ba?
Right.
The customers are actually very tolerant to grammatical lapses. Tolerant sila basta as long as they understand you, which is the whole point. But it won't hurt to brush up. Especially nakaabot tayo, moms, ako, okay, speaking for myself, ng everything's online. There are many online courses that will brush you up on your grammar, culture, manood tayo ng movies na may subtitle, mimic after, that's one thing. And definitely comm skills, yung English comm skills, yung English, yung mga customers nyo, English speaking, comes into play. And finally, I think that because of the konti lang yung time natin, tsaka marami akong pwedeng sabihin, the final thing that I think is so important is be resilient. Very characteristic of being Pinoy. Resilient tayo, matatag tayo. So, kahit na you're going to fail, you're going to make a fool out of yourself pag nasa phone ka, parang mali-mali, iyak ka na, nag-hyperventilate ka na, kaya meron akong brown bag sa office para kung nervous ka na, breathe. I mean, it happens. You're going to fail so many times, and that's what success is made of. Failure, di ba? So, wag kayong matakot, just go lang nang go. Tip is that the company is already invested in you. So it will be more difficult for us to let you go and then start again than to stay with you and retain you, and let's go on this journey together. So kung kahit na wala kayong experience, just if you think that you'd like to give it a shot, kung nasa inyo yung serving other people, customer service, making other people happy, go for it. Don't hesitate.
And you never know what will happen after, right? I mean, after you've tried it, maybe there's another opportunity that would come in. You never really know what will happen next. But it all starts with the first step
Yeah,
of
yun ang
trying it
pinakahirap.
out.
Yeah. The first
Mhm.
step is the most difficult.
Right,
Diba?
I agree with you. Okay. Anyway, sige, let's move on to the next. Wait, I've actually, moms, I've prepared a total of 9 questions, although I know you also have questions, no? But I guess this one is helpful for a lot of the moms. If you were to interview our moms for a CSR job post, what would you ask them, and how would you expect them to answer that?
I'm a mix of conventional and not conventional. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when somebody comes in, right away, alam naman natin that they're nervous. And
Mm-hmm.
what you want to do is not to test them, but how are you as a recruiter or as a hiring manager interviewing so that they're able to bring out the best side
Right.
of the best in them, right? So I'd start with what you think is just warm up. You know, like how are you is always very pleasant. Um, Maybe questions like what book did you last read? Kung nakikita niyong medyo reader, kung based on your conversation, what movie did you last watch? What did you like doing? Ganun muna. But there's always a purpose to the question. as
Mm-hmm.
as everyone answers, your hiring manager is already looking at, if you have the personality, if you have the potential, and then
Mm-hmm.
the hiring manager will usually detect that or identify that somewhere in your answer, and then dun na mag-uumpisa. So
Right.
when you said that you had a hard time, coming to the interview, what did you go through? So there's always a purpose. So the purpose is to see how they communicate, how they project themselves, kung malakas ba yung loob nila, and so on. And after
Mm-hmm.
that first part is over, nakikita na namin na comfortable na kayo, para na kayong, dapat ma-reach yung atmosphere na you're already having a casual conversation as if you just met each other for a cup of coffee, di ba? Dapat ganun yung
Mm-hmm.
mindset sana.
Right.
Then the interviewer will almost always ask for situational questions. And please take
Mm-hmm.
note na may pattern talaga ito. So it's called the STAR method, right,
Mm-hmm.
Jackie?
Mm-hmm. Right, right. I think I shared it in one, I think
Great.
last time, but it's very quick lang. Sige, Steve, you might want to refresh them as well.
Yeah, example lang para maintindihan nila pagpasok nyo at behavioral questions na yung i-ask sa inyo. They ask for the situation, S. They ask for the T, task. They ask for A, the action, and R, the result. So yung mga question na yun pwedeng, okay, can you tell us of a time when you overcame a challenge recently, or overcame a challenge with a difficult customer, difficult boss, or overcame a challenge with your children, with your spouse? So answer, keeping in mind that framework. Tell them about the situation, tell them what you needed to do muna, ano ba yung task na dapat nyong isolve, ano yung action na ginawa nyo, tsaka anong naging results nun. So,
Right.
if you follow that thought process, makikita nila na maganda ka mag-present, ng
Right.
thoughts, right? So, that's also a tip. And I guess on the flip side, who do I not hire? Somewhere along the conversation, makikita niya kung napipilitan lang, number one,
Mm-hmm.
but still, we still give them a chance. Kasi if we strongly feel about the account na they will enjoy it, yeah. Or pangalawa, it's also not good if we hop from one place to another, anywhere. Like for example, 2 months ka lang dito, 2 months ka doon,
Yeah,
2 months
yeah.
ka dyan. So parang wala siyang wala siyang consistency. So
Mm-hmm.
tatanong ko rin, I noticed that you had been moving from one place to another. Ask them also what was the challenge. Get to know where they're coming from. Baka they had childcare issues, pero okay na ngayon. That's our
Mm-hmm.
issue. Childcare, ako yun ang issue ko. Pag talagang, if my kids are sick, I will stay at home as much as possible. Kaya rin ako umuwi sa Pilipinas kasi at least na alam ko na my mom is here.
Right.
Minsan, ano eh. But yun, medyo nawala na. But make sure that you show the person who's interviewing you how sincere and authentic you are, how you want the job, and
Yeah.
how you want to make it work.
Right. I agree. Kasi you can't really fake a customer service related job. I mean, when you're faced or when you're talking to a customer and you're faking it, the customers would know it. Sometimes nga parang you feel like you yourself, you're not convincing yourself that you're telling the truth, right? So it becomes confusing even on your end. So might as well be genuine. The job really entails that you become genuine with the people that you talk to. So even during the interview process, you have to show who you really are. You don't have to fake it, right? Okay. Sige. Okay. Sige, no, let's go here. I think you mentioned this something earlier, no? Yung what factors or qualities do you consider for turning down an applicant? Are there any other factors you'd like?
Yun na nga, when questions are not answered, yung minsan sa nervyos natin, so we try to steer the conversation so that easy to understand yung questions. But sometimes, like you said, when you're not sincere, pag hindi galing sa loob, kung saan napupunta yung conversation. So that's one thing. What will get you the job is assertion. If you're assertive, that will be great. Just show how much you want the job.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, which reminds me lang, Ting, I can't help but remember the recent Miss Universe Philippines. Eh. There's a question now about being real or keeping it real to the point na parang Canto style being it real, right? So what's your take about that? Yung too much keeping it real.
Yeah. There's a time and place for everything. If you're an interview, you're not going to, bring out your heartiest. You have to know still how to conduct yourself. You don't have to be too formal, but keep it real. But there's some. I was asked yesterday kung sino daw yung gusto kong mga artista. And then she mentioned the name, and she said, "I like her because she keeps it real. She tells everybody that's just the way she is, and she doesn't care what she says." And then there's another artista, sabi ko, there's another artista who keeps it real, but she doesn't air out all the dirty laundry, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
you have to be able to discern and mind your disposition also. Kasi, yeah, that's all. You can keep it real without airing, your dirty laundry. Diba, yung mga that's all they need to know anyway for the job. Hindi nila kailangan malaman yung natural, or if your personality is really loud, try to tame it a bit, because on the phone you can't always bring out that loud personality.
Right.
So
Mhm.
you have to tame it a bit, and you match the mood of the person interviewing you.
Mhm.
Get on that side. You will have a time to get even more real outside during breaks with your friends, because Jackie knows that when we talk to each other at work is different from when we talk to each other outside. So choose the
Right.
time.
There's always an appropriate, I would say, environment to be too casual, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wait, somebody just commented lang in Facebook. She said, I know her, trainer sa APAC Alabang. Actually, we were both from APAC back in the days. See, that was about 2000.
Who is it?
Melanie Viaje.
Hello, Melanie.
So maybe she knows you.
That was from 15 years ago. Hi, Melanie. Yes,
So,
I was actually I started in Alabang as a training manager, diba?
mhm.
And we had the team. Who did you belong with, Melanie? Which account? Is it okay to disclose? I suppose it's okay. If it's not, it's too late.
Well, she has to post it on Facebook if it's okay with her. But anyway, it's nice to know that you have former colleagues, back in the days, and they're now here. So, anyway, okay.
It's a family.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. How about this one? So as a customer, actually not just the customer TA, kasi you mentioned that you've also tried having your own business. And I remember I even ate at your restaurant kasi I was still working somewhere in MOA back in the day.
Yeah. Did you?
Right, I did. I did. There were times that we would eat lunch at I can I mention? It's okay. So yeah, but we were eating there before. So maybe you can tell us naman what do you expect from a customer service provider in general? Being that you are a customer yourself, you're also a business owner, and maybe given that you had this experience and expertise at work.
Um, First of all, thank you for patronizing the the restaurant. I didn't own it. I was a franchisee.
Right, right.
And before I answer that question, which is an irony because my answer to that question is don't go around in circles. But um, yeah, one other piece of advice, mga mommy and daddies, save, especially if in your 30s, start saving, start thinking of where to invest. Because if I look back now, that's one regret I have. I wasn't able to save then kasi ang daming kids. But if you can, try to save, educate yourself financially. And when you get the chance to go for a business, go for it kahit na small lang para you can learn how to operate a business, and then maybe one day that the contact center of the business will be on the side, right?
Right.
But yes, to go back to your questions, I don't like being given the runaround.
Uh-huh.
And that's when you call customer service here, you hear that a lot when it could have been addressed
Right
in
away.
the beginning. Either you can or you can't. And if you cannot, what will you do to help me find a resolution to my problem? And then the other one is ito, really so important. Don't talk over me, sabi nila. Don't talk over me. Kung I'm still explaining something, resist the urge to, it's not sabat eh, it's just because gusto niya na magbigay ng solution,
Mm-hmm.
sinasapawan niyo yung conversation without really listening, like the Jackie and I are doing right now, right? We're actually quite excited to interrupt and
Mm-hmm.
talk over someone, but because we're mindful that we want to listen, we're not doing that. So that's one of my irks. Kapag hindi pa ako tapos mag-explain, I'm not done explaining, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody talks over me. So sometimes I'd say, wait, can you please listen to my concern, and then I'll be happy to listen to your solution. So
Right, right.
that's one thing that
Okay.
irritates me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice, nice. And I think that's something you can really apply whether during the interview, on the job itself, right? By the way, T, I know you're doing back office as well. Would your back office systems be chat or maybe involving emails?
Yeah, hey, thanks a lot for asking that, because one thing that we need to clarify, right? Although right now we've zoomed into customer service. So customer service belongs to back office processing.
Right.
Business process outsourcing. That's BPO. So if you hear BPO a lot, that's business process outsourcing. So
Mm-hmm.
kung ang background nyo, you don't really want to get on the phone. It'll be too tiring for you, for whatever reason. BPO also has finance and accounting. So if you're accountants, if you know something about the finance industry,
Mm-hmm.
you join BPO, and we have big name clients. In the Philippines, handling all the finance and accounting. IT is
Mm-hmm.
another one, a BPO. Contact center, which is customer service, chat, and email, is also part of a BPO. So if you're wondering what the difference is, the contact center, the customer service center, belongs to the BPO industry, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So hindi lahat ng nasa BPO ay call center.
Right,
Uh,
right, right.
So, hindi lahat din na sa BPO ay back office, meaning to say, we do your taxes, we do your accounting, we
Mm-hmm.
process paperwork for you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Pero when
basta,
you think about it, sorry, T. When you
no,
think about it, all of these things involve customer service in a way, right?
That's true. If you're looking at it that way, that is true. We are still taking care of our clients, our customers, which is the people who set up their accounts here.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's true. That is very true.
Right, right. And I think it regardless of the fact that you're in the front line or maybe in the back office, it's all about being dedicated as well and making sure that you've done your part, whatever your role was, whether it be encoding, whether it be balancing accounts, whether it be answering the customers' calls, whatever. It's about delivering what the customers expect from you, right?
Yes, at the very least, yes. And if
Right.
you want to go the second mile,
Mm-hmm.
you also want to hear the other end na masaya sila na, not you made their day. You always make a difference. You can always make a difference. And it's really, how did I uplift the other person,
Right.
including myself, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember back then there was even a term na parang customer delight, right? How did the customer feel about your service, right? Was she delighted enough? Was it something worth remembering? Was the experience something that she will share with her friends, right? And that's something that every customer service provider should be aiming for. The kind of service you deliver would be something they would rave about, right?
And yes, totally. That doesn't go without training, okay? Because when you enter uh, the customer service industry, you'll first get basic training. If it's a call center, you might get language training, and then you're going to get training on the product or the process or the account para on the job what you're
Right.
doing. And then they're going to also, a lot of them will say, okay, test environment muna tayo. Let's do mock calls or let's do mock work. Um, and so they're going to give you what you need to succeed because that's
Mm-hmm.
their job also.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, delighting the customer was anyway in APAC. Melanie probably knows. Delighting the customer was a module that we
Right.
also training course that we offered
Right,
uh,
right, right.
back then. Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Nice, nice. Okay, sige. Let's move on to the next question. Ito naman, we were talking about the best experiences or how good customer service should be. Now, maybe can you share with us what would you consider as the worst customer service related experience you've had? And on your end, how did you handle it?
I kind of had a hard time with this because coming into customer service, that it's there are a lot of people calling you thinking that you're the worst person that's handled their call in the world, right? So if you're coming in thinking that every call will be pleasant, you're going to have to kind of shift that mindset a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I thought through it, that what was the worst customer service is when they will, and this happens, they will start cussing at you. They will call you derogatory terms. And how do you handle that? Fortunately, somewhere in the journey of the BPO industry, they were able to address that. So very early on, they were saying if you're being yelled at, they're cussing at you, if they're calling you names, you can warn people and say, um, the customer, and say if you please refrain from using uh,
Foul
derogatory
language.
terms, like, right. And then if you do, I will have to hang up on you. So that's allowed. I will have to disconnect you is the proper term. So that's
Mm-hmm.
allowed na. So apart from that, it's part of our job, eh. It's part of the challenge to shift our thinking na what the worst thing that can possibly happen, and then how do you turn it around and delight them. It's such a satisfying feeling.
I know. I agree. It's actually a very fulfilling feeling after you've turned around the customer. Someone who's really pushing, threatening to cancel the service and stuff, and then eventually the person would buy something from you after you upsold
Yeah,
something, right?
pa. So yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
happens. How fulfilling
Mm-hmm.
you're, and you know what, that kind of relationship is not only used in when you're on a call or taking care of your customer. Who you are, I don't think there's a difference between who you are when you're taking care of your customers and who you are with your family.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
So
it's the same feeling you want. Go ahead.
I would say it's about something like investing on the relationship somehow, right?
Yeah, yeah. You want everything to be long term, as much as possible, right? Long
Mm-hmm.
term in the sense that for them, long term for the company because you're going to retain the customer, and for
Right.
you, you know you did something good.
Mm-hmm.
So, and when you go to back to the house, the way you treated your worst customer with your best behavior is the way you would like to approach family also. So, yeah, consistency. It probably you might feel uncomfortable, but yeah, be consistent with your behavior.
Right. Everybody, well, they said, is it true, T? Most people who get involved in customer service, they become nicest, either the nicest or the nastiest customers after.
There are only two kinds of people, right? So they say. But the thing is that you cannot change is that it's your choice. Who do you want
Right,
to be? How do
right,
you
right,
want to? What legacy do you want to leave the world? How do you want to your children and people you love to remember you? Do you want
right,
to be missed, or do you want to be easily forgotten? So that's your
right,
choice.
right, right. That's so Seven Habits. I really love that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the next question. And this time, I know that some moms who are currently probably listening or those who will be watching this webinar after, maybe they're already in a CSR position and maybe they're looking forward to getting promoted maybe in the future. So, what tip can you share with them?
Yes, and I have Código right here because I listed down skills.
Okay.
Um, but this one needs no cheat sheets, right? They call it cheat sheets. Um, Behave yourself into the role. When the first time I heard that, hindi ko masyado naintindihan. What does it mean to behave yourself in the role? If you're a customer service representative wanting to be a TL, it's most likely na napansin nyo na kung ano yung mga qualities and characteristics that
Mm-hmm.
stand out and make a great team. So you select those qualities and then you behave yourself into the role. Be proactive. Take na like TL. Do you want me to handle this part or take care of closing this for you? Behave yourself because that's training for you and you're investing in yourself. So behave yourself into the role you want to occupy.
Right.
Don't think about I used to train this. Don't think about, being, bakit sa bad word, I won't say it na lang, in Tagalog, but don't think about, brown nosing or sip-sip, yon. There's another word.
Mm-hmm.
Don't think about that. Because guess what? A lot of leaders like people who are proactive, who are assertive, and forget what other people say, but for as long as you're not hurting anybody and you're being helpful to everybody, be proactive in your role and behave yourself into the role. The other things that I have written here is empathic listening. Listen
Mm-hmm.
to understand. Know how to manage your time. So if you are a busy woman, a busy man, a busy person altogether, know how to handle your time and know your capabilities.
Right.
Um, know how relationships, like Jackie said, teamwork, collaboration. How are you helping each other? The leader who says na, alam mo, kung wala ako dyan sa role na yan, babagsak yung team na yan, is not the ideal leader. You
Right.
want leaders to take care of business so that when they want to take a vacation or when they can be absent, they can go ahead and do that because their teams are doing a fantastic job handling it
Mm-hmm.
without. So they in turn can take on another post when the time comes, right? So teamwork and
Mm-hmm.
collaboration is very important for relationship management. And in innovation, have the mindset to grow. Always
Wow.
suggest solutions, kahit out of the box. Huwag niyong lilimit sa, kasi part of the process ito eh. Hindi naman lahat ng process tama, di ba? So if they don't accept it after you've presented it, that's fine. But the fact that you presented and you thought about process improvement or innovation is already a characteristic that they
Right.
look for in
Right.
a person. Yeah. So
And
those
I
are the things, Jackie.
Nice. Those are nice tips, I would say. And I think for the moms out there who have, kasi some of you who have been working from home, you're not really working for big companies, right? Some of you are working for small businesses. And if you want to take on more roles, maybe, or more tasks from your clients, maybe, that's also something where you could apply the tips of T. Kumbaga parang you can always be proactive, you can always find innovative ways to handle things, that's one thing, Tina, that I've learned in freelancing and working from home. They a lot of people are so, I would say, creative and innovative about how they correspond with each other, even if their colleagues are all over the world, right? Because that's required of the job. And I see that for those who are just waiting for things to happen, usually they're just on the sideline. Whereas those who are proactive and really concerned about their clients, their companies, they usually are entrusted more responsibilities, and hence, they have better pay in the long run.
Yeah, that is spot on. That is spot on. You're not going to get complimented for every good thing you do, but
Mhm.
yung character na yon, and they see it happen. There's going to be an opportunity when they said, you know what, Jackie actually, or Tonette actually has that, exhibits that trait. Do you remember the time when? So it stays. Kahit sa back
Right.
of their head, it stays. There's another. I don't want to sound give you platitudes, right, or cliches, but there's one more thing that I like. Yung luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you're always prepared, when you're always exhibiting the good behavior, when the opportunity arises, you'll be the lucky one. You'll
Right.
probably get a break.
Right.
Yeah,
Sometimes what others fail to recognize is that you need to be prepared before the opportunity actually happens, because you never really know when that opportunity would knock, right? So some would say, well, I'll just train myself maybe when the opportunity comes, or I'll go for this responsibility or learn about these things when the opportunity comes. And it might be too late because somebody else might be, I would say, more ready, right, for that position, and they would go for that person over you instead.
definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah, so luck is really when the preparation meets opportunity. And I view in my life, as there was a time when I had people, everybody write that down and post it in our desks. Come here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
awesome. We should pray later. Yes, so that happens too when you're on webinars because you're
Right.
working from home, diba?
That's Summer. Hi,
That's
Summer.
summer. So
Hello.
every night we pray with her father. As you know, I co-parent, so he calls
Right.
and we pray at a certain time each night. That's what that was
Okay.
about.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay. How about this one? Oh, wait, I've already asked this. How about do you look up to anyone in terms of customer service, and what did you learn? Although I think I have an idea what your answer would be, but go ahead. You can go ahead and share this.
There's not one person that I really look up to or pattern myself after. I think it's a combination of really. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
fantastic leaders, right? Cubby is one of them, but I have not had the chance to work with him or any one of these leaders for me to know. But um, I pick out what I feel will work and what I feel natural, and from many of the leaders, and then I apply it to what I know, right? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not perfect. Some of the things we pick up are uh, not good, and some are bad, but we learn from. So there's not one icon or leader that I look up to, but I do look up to the people I work with. So essentially, it's you. Uh, yeah, no, essentially, it's you. It's the people who surround
Right.
me, and this in this session, it's what I learn. It's the constructive criticism that come in, or the gracious words, kind words that come in. So you have to learn from that. Yeah, but I am, in terms of philosophy framework, I am most drawn to the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. Drawn to
Right.
it so much that I enrolled my three younger kids, and it has changed the way they
See
feel
things.
about school, about people. Yeah, it really is
Right.
a very good.
Which kind of reminds me, I should do that also for my son. One-on-one 7 habits. So, anyway, I'd like that you pointed out that you've learned a lot of things from different, I would say, philosophies and maybe leaders, so to speak, right? But more than anything, I think it's not just about learning these concepts, but also applying what you have learned from them, and then somewhere knowing or filtering out which one works for you or not, because the thing is a lot of people actually enroll in different workshops, seminars, webinars and stuff, but they don't really apply what they learn
That's it.
from these trainings or these seminars, that they forget everything they learned during the training, right?
Yeah, the application is so important. So as soon as you pick up something, try it. Give it a shot, even if it feels uncomfortable. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Try it. For example, one uncomfortable thing that I was able to unlearn is that be comfortable with silence. So when you're talking to somebody and there's a silence, you allow that silence to happen. And normally, gusto natin i-fill in the gaps, right?
Right.
So in any conversations, if there's silence, don't feel awkward. Let
Mhm.
it happen. Yeah. It's
Right,
it,
right.
it might be a shallow example, but it's what I could think of right away, and I was uncomfortable with.
I understand, especially maybe during these kind of sessions, right? You know what? We've really learned a lot from you, T. It's really a very refreshing, I would say, refreshing night. I still have one more question, I think, here. You're a super mom, hands down. Okay, that's how I see it. Because I only have one kid, that's Ethan, and I still need my aunt with me as I raise him, but you had five. So I wonder what would be your best tip for moms in terms of managing time and stress?
So how did I manage time and stress?
Right.
Right, I
Mm-hmm.
tell you, with much difficulty, with blood, sweat, and tears, with everything that I had going against me, and that's inspired me. That's why when Jackie was introducing, me earlier, I had not known, and I got a little bit of sniffles. Naiyak ako. I got a little emotional, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's those things that you hear na kahit pa paano may nagawa kang maganda rin naman, but you mess up a lot, but at least there's something that. So with much difficulty. So moms, dads, you're going to mess up. You're going to fail. Um, and you probably sometimes will have a great fall. It's all right, because please don't forget that for you to get from point A to point B, that journey needs to be taken. But do it conscionably, use your conscience. Um, be be deliberate. Parang imagine the future. If I did A, will I get B? Will I get C? So your imagination is involved. Um, and what else? And just know that, yeah, it's okay. I'm stressed right now. I mean, I'm like really, but I guess you learn how to manage it. And sometimes it just stays there for a while. It's okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. You're breathing. Um, Nakakakain, at kung nahihirapan ko dun, it takes a village. You certainly have formed good relationships in the past na you will meron kang taong naiisip na maasahan mo sa what something, right?
Right.
For everything, somebody you can talk to, somebody who's willing to lend you a helping hand. So it really takes a village. I did not raise my children, ladies and gentlemen. It took everybody around me
Mm-hmm.
to help me raise these kids, and luckily they're all doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, three are employed all for a long time now. One is just taking his master's. They're all in the US, and the youngest one is with me, and she'll be graduating this year, high school,
Wow. It's
taking
been a
her
long
college. How? Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko talaga alam. But the only thing I know is that um, um, gut, yung itibay ng loob, sige, just keep moving forward kahit na baby steps lang. Just go,
Mhm.
go, go for
Right.
gold, go for the
And
win.
And speaking of, you said baby steps. I'm pretty sure a lot of moms who are listening right now, most of them are stay-at-home moms. And you shared earlier that you've started your journey before. You're trying to pick up pieces nung time na yun, when you're starting out as a CSR, eventually becoming a trainer. What can you probably share naman for moms who are aspiring to maybe work into the CSR position or basically to start working for their kids and their family?
Support system. I wouldn't have been able to do it without my mom. And that's a conscious decision that I made. I know, I'm not going to lie to myself. I know that I need a strong support system. Um, I think that before you go out to work, look for somebody you can trust na kasi big concern sa atin ng mga anak natin to maybe look after your children. If you can't do
Mm-hmm.
full time, there are part time. If you can't leave the house, please go and explore job seeking sites that have work from home,
Mm-hmm.
because that's manageable. Working from home is manageable, because you're at home with the kids, right? And so you know what they're doing at this time. And the pandemic, even if it's a sad situation, it's a good adjustment period, because who knows, after the pandemic we'll still have for sure a lot of people working from home. At least you were able to to adjust to having a kid around. The
Right.
people who are doing virtual meetings with you, I know we're over, are very forgiving. They're okay with having, dogs barking, children crying, and so on and so forth.
Right. And well, for me naman, T, I think what I will share with the moms out there, for me, in my case, no, when I started working, being a solo parent myself, although I had my aunt with me, raising my son, I think the honesty between me and my son, I had to
Oh,
disclose that I had to work. You have to understand. Even at a young age, I was actually listening to him, and he understood the situation better. And I don't know if that would apply for moms out there who are thinking of working and they don't know what to do with their kids. Sometimes, your kids are, I would say, more intelligent than you think they are. They can understand the situation better than you actually think they can.
if they've asked the question, ready to hear the answer. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
they're so much more advanced now compared to how,
Surprisingly.
especially when we were growing up. Pero yung basics nandun pa rin. Your guidance is still very important.
Right.
So
So,
over the weekends, yeah, I choose my children, over my anything personal. So and people will have other choices, but I think it was important that there was dedicated time na kakain kayo sa labas or kakain kayo sa bahay o mag-uusap lang
mm-hmm.
kayo. As a time with them, special
Yeah,
time.
and I remember my son when I was working back then in the BPO. Even if I didn't have enough sleep, every payday we would go out and eat just one. Even if I don't really enjoy, we would set the McDonald's Happy Meal, right? And we would play just for a short period of time. My son actually remembers it even at the age of 18. All these things that we've done in the past. So yeah, spend time with your kids. I think that's really making memories.
Yeah, making memories for sure. Making memories is so important. Kahit memories, not so good memories. Like remember that they, oh my God, now that they're grown up, they would ridicule me. Mom, do you remember the time that you embarrassed us in front of the ganyan? There's still memories.
Right.
Mom, you're
Okay.
crazy. Ganyan.
Right.
Yeah,
Mm,
they would say that, but they're memories, and that's what makes it endearing to them.
right.
Or mom, remember the time na we didn't have enough, because we know I went through that. We didn't have enough to eat. And no milk in the house. And natitira na lang konting Milo, lalagyan mo lang ng tubig yun. Isuswoosh around mo. Yeah, and I'm gonna say I'm lucky to have gone through that as well. Kasi how will I appreciate everything I have, or we appreciate everything we have? Pero
Right.
Mahirap. Yeah, and sometimes you wish hindi na lang, pero nangyayari, but you'll be okay. You'll be
Right.
okay.
Right. I like that. So it's basically it's okay not to be okay. Always, you know, whatever you're going through at the moment, I would say that it's not forever. As they say, this too shall pass. If you do something about it, of course. I mean, if you're not gonna do anything about it and just wait for things to disappear or the problems to disappear, then good luck. But if you're going to act on it, baby steps, as you said earlier, one step at a time, and eventually you'll get to 100 steps and more, right?
Yeah, baby steps are fine. Just get to the, you might not even get to your goal right away, but at least na-envision yun na, you envision it is where you want to go. And slowly, a little at a time, make your way there.
Right. And sometimes, just like, in a customer service job, sometimes frustrations and I would say irate callers, you feel like those are I say down experiences for you. But when you overturn everything and you overcome the challenge, right? It feels so good, right? It feels so good that you're able to overcome that.
And we won't be without challenge. I mean,
Right.
whether it be yesterday or today, we will always be with a challenge. I will always have meron akong stress times na I will cry my heart
Mm-hmm.
out. But, I also have the network of people. I have open relationship with not open communication rather with people I love, and then also ask what they're going through. Um, Now I know a lot of the moms are teachers as well. May nakita nga akong meme na yung report card nasa pangalan ng nanay or tatay.
Right, right.
Of the kids, right? Right. So it's added to your task also. Again, maybe
Mm-hmm.
choose a career na you can do work from home. I think that will be best for
Right.
now.
Okay, nice, nice. Okay. Well, I think that those are only the questions I've prepared for you, T. I'm gonna open the floor now to the moms out there. I'm not so sure if we have a lot of questions from you. So, Will, are there any questions maybe on YouTube or in the Facebook page, moms? Do you have any question for T? Anything you want to ask her? It's your chance. It's really nice to catch up with you, T, and it's great. It's great. It's just great. At least the nerves now are normal. Earlier, I was really nervous because it's been a long time since we've talked and we're going live.
Yeah, thank goodness talaga for avenues like this and channels like this. And I would like to congratulate the founders of this channel, right? Because it really gives an avenue for work from home moms, all the home based moms and dads to talk about what their challenges are, or especially talk about also their successes and what they had to go through, and know that you're not alone. They're not alone in this. So.
Okay. Somebody's asking T for senior high school students. So I understand there are some students out there who are not going to enroll for college. So they're senior high school graduates. Do you have any tip for them, maybe to get them started into working?
Um, so I know that some of our BPO industry sectors, right, would already accept non-grads or high school grads for as long as they have the communication or basic skills even to uh, do the task that is needed. Tips for high school grads: get your experience from work for sure. It's an investment still, but if you have time to go back to school, even if it's part time, while you're young and energetic, don't give that up because it is a competitive world. And if an employer were to select between someone, kung kunyari pantay na yung skills nyo, di ba? You're both doing well. Kunyari, imagine yourself with a friend or a buddy at work and pareho yung skills nyo, but there was an opening. Sino yung pipiliin? Most of the time, the one that gets chosen still is the one with that kind of education. Kasi yung experience, pareho na kayong 3 years, pareho na kayong ganon. So, pag at the end of something, they'll still look at what the education was. And I don't want to be pretentious about it kasi that's the way of the world. They still look at your educational qualifications. Not just that, pero tinitingnan nila how kung masipag ka ba, were you industrious? Did you persevere in getting to that goal of getting educated to prepare you for your future? So they look at education, they look at your behavior towards learning. And maybe I'm a little biased kasi L&D ako, di ba? Learning and development training. But I've observed that. That's very candid.
Right. And I admire really those reps. I've had some trainees in the past who actually did that. They tried working at the same time studying, completing their college degree. And I know it's kind of tough for them, but at the end of their journey, they really feel good about it. Some of them ended up, quitting the industry altogether. Some of them stayed with the industry, but it was easier for them to move up the corporate world.
True.
Mhm. Okay, mommies, aside from that question, do you have any other questions maybe that you'd like to ask T? I'm actually looking into the free, the webinar, the Facebook, how do you call that? I forgot what it's called, but the Facebook Live. So, okay, here. Is it ideal to work at companies first to gain experience like BPO industry before applying for an online job at Upwork or onlinejobs.ph? Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and answer this for you, T.
Please.
Actually, it's all about finding the right job post, I believe. At Upwork, there are some job postings that do not really require BPO experience. Okay, so you just need to find the right job post. Although there are more job posts that would require previous BPO experience. But like what he mentioned earlier, when the BPO, I would say, I don't know, I started back in 2004. But during that time, a lot of the new companies that started out, some of us started fresh, right? So you never really know if somebody who's looking for maybe a CSR who's going to be working from home might actually be open to newbies. Okay, of course, those who have BPO experience will have an edge at the moment, but I'm not saying that's just it because, like what I've shown you the last time, there are actually some CSR posts that are also work from home that do not even require previous work experience. So it's about finding the right, I'd say, the right job posting, perfectly matching your credentials and experiences. Okay. So it's up to you, Miss Verna, right? That's your name. You can go ahead and try it out. There's nothing wrong with trying out in the BPO, in the regular BPO industry, and apply for a call center job. Um, Now, maybe at least after a year, sometimes that's the requirement for Upwork and onlinejobs.ph. But other than that, you can also try um, applying directly with Upwork and onlinejobs.ph. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Um, okay. See, how about this one? Any tip or advice how to sound not nervous with the customer?
Just think of the customer. And again, it's no, it's like it's difficult, easier said than done. Just think of a customer as your friend needing your help, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't, maybe this friend is not somebody you've known for a long time, bago pa lang. So parang nagliligawan kayo kasi pag nagliligawan kayo, di ba, you really listen to the other person, trying to
Mm-hmm.
find common ground. So maybe it's that. Really listen and pretend that it's your friend.
Right.
Finally, again, be nervous. It's okay. I was nervous going into this call. You're going to get to a point where
Right.
okay na. You're going to get to that point. I mean, sigurado yon. You're going to that point, but keep at it. So if you're nervous now, it decreases with each call. We're going to be
Right.
nervous. I mean, how else did everybody do it, right? So everybody got to that point na nakaka-nervyos na, yun na nga, we had brown bags in the office because some would even hyperventilate and all of
Mm-hmm.
that. Allow yourself that. It's normal.
Right, right.
Very
For
normal.
me, what I can share naman, when I was a rep back then, I would try to imagine how the customer looks like. I don't know, but that helps me somehow. Like, this is an old lady and I'd really like to help her. I don't know, that for me that worked. So it's up to you if that's going to work for you as well. I try to picture out or imagine how this person would probably look like, just like a friend, right? Um, Tips po for better resume, LinkedIn or Upwork profile. Um, okay. Maybe for you, T, maybe in terms of resume in general first, what can you give as an advice?
I also I hire people, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like mahabang resume. So I see it, pinag-aralan mo ba? I mean, did you look up the company that you were applying for so that your resume is you're emphasizing the skills that are fit for this call center or this company. So
Mm-hmm.
make it short because everything will come out during the interview. Um, and I know this is going to sound a little funny, but in the beginning I noticed that in the resumes here in the Philippines they would include everything, the name of your spouse. I've even seen vital statistics, not
Right.
kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So for employers in the BPO industry, especially those who are based out, they're called EOE, or equal opportunity employers. They don't even need to see your pictures. Sometimes it's something that's required locally. So stick to your skills and
Right.
stick to the points that you want to emphasize, and
Mm-hmm.
bring in your personality, and that's all. Because um, don't look over prepared. Really, just be yourself. It's the job of the recruiter, the hiring manager, to bring out the best in you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, in terms of your Upwork and LinkedIn profile, pretty similar to what we mentioned earlier for your resume. But I would really suggest that don't stick with a generic resume, but make yourself stand out somehow when you create your Upwork profile, such that your job profile is matching the job postings that you're applying for. Because sometimes we tend to create generic profiles, for example. It's you're just like one of the rest, okay? Especially for Upwork, sometimes some profiles do not get approved because your profiles are basically the same with everybody else. Like, you have basic customer service skills, and sometimes it takes time for you to get approved. You have to have something extra, something special that would show up in your profile for a potential client to actually consider you. Okay. How do you address how do you address toxic workmates and environment? This is a cool question too.
Um, Galing ni Adamas.
Right.
Um, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, there will always be people who um are not there to give you what you expect from them, right? You will have people who complain, or you have people who will be ITCH. You will have people who, and that's everywhere. So beginning and end of it is that, again, you choose to either patulan, or you choose your battles, right? And then if it gets so bad, if it is anything to do with harassment or bullying or discrimination, in this industry they have set platforms, help desk, that you can ask for help. So if it is that, don't ignore it. If it's like that, definitely escalate to your manager, escalate it to HR, somebody you trust, and don't allow it to happen.
Right.
But um, it is a toxic environment, and you did sign up for that a lot of times. It's not a walk in the park, but your mindset, if you have a healthy mindset, and if you know what decision to make, what to choose, it'll be easier for you. It's
Mm-hmm.
really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's true. If it gets too bad, there's always going to be people like that. You can either, you don't always have to either confront it. You just ignore it because you know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you're capable of, and so trust in yourself.
Right. And I like what you said earlier, choose your battles, because it's sometimes, I would say it can be a waste of time. At the same time, you have, I would say, more opportunities also to show your best or who you are maybe in some other ways. I think it's just normal that you would encounter also people who would just simply want to bring you down. Right? There are, I don't know, but there are really some people who are just like that. They are happy to bring down people. It's normal.
And
I
you
don't
have
like
to,
it. Go ahead.
no, you have to feel, you have to question that, right? When there are people who are like that, they are most
Right.
likely going through some turmoil in their life for them to show so much toxicity. And that's why if you fuel it, you're not helping them become a better
Mhm.
person, right? So ask yourself, is my action, if I acted towards it, is it
You
helping me
will.
become a better person? Is it helping them become a better person? And if the answer to that is no, either look for something that can help the toxic teammate, or you just uh, talk to somebody about it, and you don't, you don't always have to confront the situation.
Right.
Yeah.
And as they say, hurt people, right?
Hurt
So,
people hurt people.
right. Okay, where do I start for if I were a complete beginner in the BPO industry? Um, well, actually, there are a lot of openings, be it in the conventional corporate BPO industry, and also if you start working from home. I know hiring all I think I would say most BPO companies at the moment are hiring, right? It's an ongoing thing. That's why there's always training fee, right?
Yes, yes. You start with an application. Go
Mm-hmm.
for it. Just fill it out. Go for it.
Mm-hmm.
Complete beginner, when you see a post either on LinkedIn or Facebook or your friend or referral, fill out the application and send it in.
Mm-hmm.
Send
Right.
it.
Sometimes it would also help if you try to, I would say, run an inventory of your skills, maybe. At the same time, assess yourself where you need to work on, or maybe do self-study. Like what T mentioned earlier, there's a lot of things available on YouTube and Google. You can also enroll in Customer Service 101. Watch out for more details about what FH wants is cooking up this last few months of 2020. But I would say, like what P mentioned earlier, I think it's that first application that would give you an idea where you need to work on.
Mhm.
Let's
It's
say
because,
for
yeah,
go ahead.
it's up to the job of the recruiter to filter the applications and see where you belong, right? As long as you fill out that application, send in your resume. If you're starting, you obviously wouldn't know what other skills they're looking for aside from your basic skills. So leave that job and to the person who's evaluating your resume, and then you're going to learn as you go.
Right.
Learn on the go. That's a very
Mhm.
popular term in the industry right now. You just learn as you go.
Right. Okay, Adam has sent a lot of questions. So she says, is it okay if my goal as an employee isn't as big as others? I know many people get into BPO to become a manager or whatnot, but is it okay if I just want to remain where I'm at?
That's an excellent question. That's absolutely, absolutely okay. You don't have to move up. I mean, a lot of people look for careers and all of that, but you don't have to move up. If you're making ends meet and you're happy with what you're doing, why will you shake the boat, right? And later on, if you feel up to a challenge, go for it.
Right.
But even during back in the day, we just had moms and dads or college kids who are just happy with that for now. At least you're aware. You're aware of
Right.
what you want. That's very important, yung self-awareness na you know.
Mhm.
Um,
And I
yeah.
remember I actually had colleagues before who really didn't want to be promoted, but eventually, maybe after how many years of being first in the industry, they themselves decided to move up. So you're not really required to have a big plan right off the bat. You
Yeah.
know, when you get interviewed for your first interview, they won't ask you like, do you want to be a manager in 5 years or so? It's possible that you might not even have a big plan yet. There. When I started out, I didn't really have a plan to be a trainer. I shared it before that I am a registered chemist. Initially, when I started out in the BPO, the customer service industry, I was looking at a temporary job while I take my before I take my board exam. But I became a trainer before I even passed the board exam. So I ended up staying in training instead of pursuing chemistry. I pursue chemistry at home. There. Okay. Any other questions, mommy? You have any other? Any last word maybe for them? Something you wanna share? Last word for all of the moms out there.
Um, I wrote here, your honesty and integrity are the most valuable assets. So wherever you go, whatever you do, be consistent, be honest. Yeah, and just keep persevering,
Mm-hmm.
because the perseverance, while it may not sometimes lead you to your original goal, you're moving forward.
Right.
Don't give up. Um, don't fear being nervous or being not good enough or anything that comes your way, because I know those were my fears and anxieties. And in the, how old am I, in the 30 years that I've worked, I know that for as long as you inched your way up, and you kept moving forward even when it was difficult, you'll get to a good place.
Right. 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 Okay. Well, last question from Admas as well. Um, Biggest regret and joy of being a BPO employee. It's kind of tricky. Do you have any regret, P, or
Not regret, but I wish I had more of pwedeng yun na lang.
right?
I wish I had more time with my kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why it's very important that you allot time. And if you're happy with a job that's not as demanding, you're happy na with your desk job, with taking calls, na achieve mo na yon, and you can afford it, yeah. But it's not necessarily in the BPO. I think a lot of parents would say na, I wish I had more time in retrospect, with my children.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's just more time. Seems to be the biggest regret. Yeah, no, it's not. You're asking the wrong person. I am in love with this industry.
Right, right. Well, for me, I think it's also not a regret, but more of a wishful thinking that I had more time with my son when he was younger as well. I mean, as a solo parent, of course, I would say I did well. Not that I don't really have a choice, but it was our choice because I needed to bring food on the table, of course, right? But nevertheless, I don't really have a big regret, so to speak, because in this industry, I improved myself a lot. I learned a lot of new things. I think overall, as a person, I also improved myself. Something that's kind of far from chemistry, but who would have known back in college that I'd actually be doing this, right? I mean, back in college, maybe, I don't know, I never really figured myself as a chemistry professor. But maybe if I pursued chemistry, maybe, but I'm enjoying what I'm doing now. So I think everything that I went through, I would say, is more of a learning experience that I'm taking with me. It made me a better person altogether. Okay. So I guess we'll have to close unless you have anything else you want to share with the moms, T. Do you have anything else you want to share with them?
God bless you. May you live enriching lives. Keep at it, and thank you so much for staying in this webinar and making Saga, watching me. It was a blessing for me. Thank you very much.
Right,
Thank you,
right.
Jackie. Happy birthday, Jackie.
Thank you, T. Well, mommies, thank you very much as well again for watching. I hope that you will be sharing this as well with your friends. More than anything, remember FH Moms is here to help you jumpstart your work from home career or your freelancing career. As we say, it's one mom at a time. We do understand that if the mom is, I would say, happy, everybody else in the family will be affected, down from the kids to the husband as well. For the husbands or the dads out there, we have a counterpart FH, a counterpart group. That's the PH dads. Unfortunately, dads are not allowed or guys in general are not allowed in the FH moms community. Only females, right? So only moms and even your daughters would be allowed in FH moms. But if they're, because of course, moms and we women have our own, sentiments, right? So we want to have our own community somehow. So for the moms out there, if your husbands are also looking into maybe starting out their freelancing career, they can instead join the PH Dads group. Okay? So, wait. I hope you will be ready to take on the next job, whatever that job may be. And I hope that you learned a lot tonight. I am so blessed and I am so happy to have T. Thank you very much again, T. It's really such an honor,
Thank
such
you.
pleasure to have you after how many years, right? We only see each other on Facebook, reading each other's stories and posts. We're just readers and silent supporters of each other. We like each other's posts, pray for one another and stuff. But being able to inspire more moms in this avenue, in this channel, is really I would say, a blessing more than anything, right?
Thank you. Thank you again for having me, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day, and God bless you all. Bye, mommy. See you next time.